Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hello, everybody. I remembered to unmute my mic, so I hope you guys are proud of me. Today it is
Warning,
a oh
incoming game over. Warning,
oh,
incoming
just a
game
second
over.
on my end too. Yes, here we are. Sorry. Yes, crossover show. How are we doing today?
Well, we were doing good, and then we weren't doing so good, and then we
And
were
then we
doing
were,
all right, and then we weren't doing good either.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah. Um, Sorry guys, just fixing the view. I don't know what just happened. Um, let's talk a little bit about today's game. Sorry, I'm just fixing something really quickly. Um, okay, I think we should be good. Better. Um, hello. So I was not expecting that game to go the way that was. I kind of messaged you, and I said that, hey, I don't think that the Habs are going to win this one. It's one that's back after a long road trip full of results that I don't think anybody expected, including all Habs fans. Like, let's be completely honest with ourselves. Um, and the Canucks seemed like I figured they'd won it, especially with Hughes back. I figured something would happen. How did you expect this game to go?
I'm gonna be honest, I also expected to lose, but then when the news came out that Hughes was like a game time decision and he was out there skating, and sure he has some kind of like Spider-Man looking web shooter type thing on his
Oh
hand.
yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? He was back in. I thought that would give them an extra jump, maybe.
Yeah.
Did I have faith? I didn't have faith until they got the lead. Um, and then they lost the lead, and then I remembered that I'm a Canucks fan, so.
You're like, I know how this goes. The
Oh,
Habs in general, yes.
I was just saying your eardrums are safe.
Good to
And
know.
Chad is wondering. I have a reputation to uphold, but I will not uphold it at this current moment.
What is yeah, the screaming. Yes. I don't know. Does that have something to do with expectations? What were your let's talk just a little bit about the game today. What are your expectations, I guess, not just going into the game, but at this point in the season, what are you expecting from this team from your end?
At this point of the season, I mean, this is around the same time where the Canucks sort of tapered off, I feel like last year.
Hmm.
Whereas, um, right now they literally just haven't really gotten going. Like they're
Hmm.
still in a decent position postseason wise, and like they're still winning games, but it's just and they're getting points, but like they're turning into the Bruins of last year where they
Hmm.
just got all the loser points.
Yeah.
That's where the Canucks are right now. They have 9 OTLs.
Hmm.
Some teams didn't even get 9 OTs last season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, yeah, it's just another overtime loss. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
I don't know. I Your tone sounds a little bit defeated, like just about the team. Like, for Habs fans, I think and we're going to talk about this a little bit later as well. Just in terms of um where we are in the standings and how we didn't expect this, and like comparing that to kind of what Canucks fans are feeling. Um, but like let's just talk about our feelings a little bit. Just for a second. I know everybody wants to talk about the game, but let's talk feelings for a second. Um, how do you feel right now about the team coming out of not just this game, but this point in the season?
You kind of said it like the Habs and Canucks have different points of view of where they're I mean, it's the same point of view but from different angles. They're both
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we're in a wild card spot." But the Habs are, like, "Oh, we're in a wild card spot." Like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening." Whereas Canucks fans are just like, We're in a wild card spot. We were at the top of the league last
Yeah.
year, and we're in a wild card spot." It's kind of like a tale of two stories.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, my feelings around it are just too resigned to scream, Canucks, what have you done for her? Done to her? Honestly, yeah. Also,
Yeah,
I got school tomorrow. I don't want to wreck my voice before that, but
honestly fair. Um, So first, before we kind of get into this, I did make a mistake about what I want to put our lovely sponsors up because we have some great things happening here for Montreal. But first, I want to say hello to everybody. I was a little frazzled coming in, so because of that, I think I wasn't able to do my proper intro. But hello, everybody. I see all of you in the chat. I appreciate and love you all in the chat. Some familiar names. Um, I can't do that with my fingers, by the way. I've tried. I sound very, I know exactly. I'm not going to attempt it on camera because it's really embarrassing. But so, yes, hi everybody. If you haven't I guess like the stream. If you like us already, like the stream. If you don't, I'll remind you. Trust me, I will remind you. I'll be on you. Um, so before we kind of get started for real, I want to talk to you a little bit today about one of our lovely sponsors, the ones that you see on the left, the Saint Motel. Are you looking for a way to make awesome memories with your friends? Want to take some promotional pictures for your business? Check out Les Saint Motel in Montreal Southwest. It's an amazing selfie studio based in Montreal's historic Chateau Ambrosia, adjacent to Inchibisu, that boasts 12 plus unique decors for you to enjoy and make memories. Hop in the iconic heart-shaped ball pit or transport yourself back to the Expo 67. The Saint Motel can also come to you with mobile decor setups available for rent for events, including setup and takedown. Head to lesaintmotel.com for more details or check out their to check out their amazing decors that are always being updated. Um, I've gotten in my head about that pronunciation, guys. This time I was like I had it written out all phonetically and everything, and I still got in my head about it. So we'll be better about that. It's become a thing. Um, so yes. King of the North says Kay tries to make finger hearts and throws up gang signs and said, yeah, I really don't want to I really don't want to do that by accident. Um I like this. I like doing this and I don't want Andrew to have to get rid of me.
I feel like being alive.
Yeah. Okay,
Um,
so I think we wanted to talk a little bit about just the game today and kind of what we saw, just maybe a little bit, I don't know, nothing's outside the context that it exists in, but and as I just the general feelings on the game. So, this game, it was an exciting one. Honestly, I kind of expected maybe a bit of a sleepier one just because I don't know, the Habs have been like after the long kind of road trip, I expected maybe not so much energy, even though it was in a back-to-back. Um, you know, I they're a young team. I don't always expect them to hold up that amount of energy. But it was exciting. There's a lot of back and forth. If you ask a Habs fan, they'll tell you that for the first time in a long time, they don't feel like the Habs are out of it. If they've like go down, right? Like there was a long time where we were the only team that literally did not win if we fell behind, like at all. And this was like a good quarter into the season. So it was embarrassing. Um, but you know, this one started off with a bang, and Frederick says in the chat, Guhle monster hit. Holy shit. That what a physical start to this game, right?
physical all over the board. I just hear like I'm sitting there. I just turned like the broadcast is going, and
Yeah.
I forgot that they don't broadcast the anthems. So I was like unloading my dishwasher, and that's when the play started. And then I'm like, oh shoot! All right, I gotta finish this up and then run back over. And then I just hear like thrash, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what did Kiefer Sherwood do now? And it's no, it's not at all. Like it honestly, great, great hit, very physical game.
Mhm.
It's it's just there's some hits where I'm like, it did feel like a playoff game
Yeah.
at points.
Yeah.
When the refs, tuck their whistles away. I'm not necessarily saying that's a good thing,
Yeah.
because you know,
Yeah.
um, do your job. At the same time, like some of the
Ask for the
hits.
refs to do that? Come on, you can't be unreasonable like that. How could you?
True, true. Yeah, there's that, and then there's like other hits where I'm like, okay, that shouldn't have been a call because you didn't call A or B,
Yeah.
or this should have been a call because anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it. But that hit, clean, awesome. I mean, if I was a Habs fan, I would have loved it. Guhle, he did that hit on Lekarameki, and then he had another big one. I don't know if it was the same shift or just later in the period on a different shift, but
It was
he had
later in the
another big
period. He had like 3
one.
monster hits in the first. It was really sick as a, member of Guhle Nation, as the president of Guhle Nation, truly. I do wanna say, Conrad, in the chat, I hope your foot feels well, or your knee, sorry. Apparently, there was black ice involved in a fall, and, we all know how that goes, so I hope you feel better.
Well, like Vancouver doesn't get cold enough for that, but like I'm
Oh.
sure everybody else.
I'm sure you're aware of the concept, like us plebs
I'm
living in the living near the what is it, like the South Pole, the North Pole? It's the North Pole, that's the cold one, right?
Yeah, but technically, like I don't know if Montreal is, but I know Toronto definitely is more southern than
Yeah,
Vancouver. That's a
yeah,
little
for
point. Anyway, that's um this is for you, Conrad. Oh, it's not gonna be tilted the right way.
Oh, you have to lift it up just a little bit. There we go. Yeah,
There you go.
focus now.
Welcome, welcome to Game Over Montreal.
Silly season. Um, Claire says, speaking of big hits, everybody remember to hit the like button. Yes, please. That's a good one, Claire. Thank you. So, for me, I thought it was like the game was. I didn't think that either team really got screwed at any point from at least the referee point of view. Uh, the refereeing point of view? I don't know. The officiating point of view. There we go. Um, so,
I mean, the refs never think they did anything wrong, but
we'll
oh,
never
you
know.
meant yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I just think it was like, I think it was, there were definitely times where I was like, but it also felt like they then they fall into this, and it's a separate discussion, I think, about the NHL, but like now unfortunately, where now we as fans have to be like, well, they didn't call it because they didn't call this other thing. And it's like, well, this would just work if you like call the rules instead of like us having to do this like weird like balance thing. That
Hmm.
isn't good for anybody at the end of the day. So
Yeah, yeah, but then they call the rules and then they just complain about it like they do every year in the World Juniors.
yes,
Yeah. Which I always find funny because every other team learns how to play within, IHF rules where
yes,
um like you can't do a lot of things
yeah,
and then Canada never learns their lesson. Anyway, that's a
no,
different
never,
conversation. But yeah,
never, of course
refs
not.
should didn't feel the refs were bad tonight. There were some I mean there was a hilarious like ref you suck
Yeah,
after Doc tripped, honest to God tripped.
that was really
Like
funny.
they're playing on ice, bro. They're
Yeah.
playing on ice. Ice is slippery. They're gonna fall. They're gonna fall. And so like he literally toe picked. Myers and Hughes are so far away from him at this point that they're basically in one's in Ottawa and one's in Quebec City. Like that's basically what it looked like. And then the Bell Centers boos.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, I always try to, of course, like when I'm watching another like team play at home and their crowd is like being, calling like for penalties that don't exist. I'm like, you stupid idiot babies. And then like when my team does it, I'm like, they're allowed. Come on, they pay tickets for those. Like I'm like, they're allowed. But like it's always a thing of like the Bell Center is so loud that no matter what happens, you're hearing about it. Like a hit will get a loud cheer and then a boo will be a boo. I think it's why like, you know, we always have that discussion every time a former Habs player comes into the building about, well, guys, don't boo him. Um, and it's always dependent on the situation, in my opinion. Sometimes it is like it's like weird to boo them, but other times it's like I don't know, like Bell Center tickets are expensive. Just like I don't like we all know hockey games in Canada especially are really expensive. So I don't know, do what you do what you want to do, I guess. I had quite a few mutuals who were there actually in the game, quite a few people I know. And it was because it's Arbor Jack Guy bobblehead night. Um, so a lot of people
Oh,
were
that makes
there.
sense why it was really physical. Um,
But that's the thing is like he wasn't even like on it. Like I saw maybe one moment from him that I was like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Um, but I listen, there's a certain like at a certain point there's a threshold that you have that you develop for players. You know what I mean? There's a kind of player that Arbor is that you're just like, okay, man. Stupid penalties. It's not usually Arbor. Let's talk about Cole Caulfield. What was that penalty, eh? That was so
oh,
stupid.
when he got mad, he slashed Tyler Myers.
I was like, you're gonna let that guy get like no offense, I'm sorry, but like if you're gonna take a if you're gonna let somebody goad you into it, at least like let it be like I don't know, JT Miller or something like that.
I, I, I think that's the first Tyler Myers penalty. I think that's the first penalty Tyler Myers has drawn his entire time as a Canuck. He's been
Yeah.
here for Quinn Hughes' entire career.
Yeah. Is he usually
But
the taker rather than drawer?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
I knew the answer to that as I asked it.
The player who draws the most penalties right now is actually out. So
Okay, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I think it's still Pettersson.
Yeah.
It might be Garland now, but Pettersson was pretty consistent with drawing pens.
I feel
But
like
yeah,
with
that
your
was
yes, your highest
sorry.
drawing penalty your highest penalty drawing guy will always be like your skilled forward usually I find even like defensemen like obviously Quinn Hughes is great but like I think whatever position that they're in it just ends up favoring a forward especially a speedy forward you know um it's either those or like pests like guys who really can like unless your name is Brendan Gallagher, then you get slashed at and nobody says anything about it because you're Brendan Gallagher. Um, and maybe you've
Yeah.
earned it at some point. I'm not saying he hasn't done things, but there's a balance, right? uh,
Okay.
are you seeing Bernardo's? Yes, you were telling me about the penalty minutes. Yeah.
Oh, Tyler Myers has taken the most penalties.
Okay.
I'm trying to find who is um drawn the
Drawn the
most
move.
penalties. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has taken it's Tyler Myers at 13. Carson Soucy and Niels Höglander are tied for 12, and I don't know if this is updated or not. I don't think it is because Niels Höglander also took another penalty tonight, which is like the power play. Gallagher tried to fight our goalie?
Really? I don't
I do
remember
not
that.
remember that.
I would usually remember
Was
that.
yeah. Um,
I mean, that
but
does sound like him, but I don't remember it.
there I thought that shot that Lane Hutson put it right on his tape for and
Yeah.
Gallagher just tips it way wide. I thought that was so funny.
That was yeah. Yeah. He had a hot start to the season, and I think he just kinda lost it a little bit. Um, but before we get sidetracked, the game, to go back to the game, um, it was listen, I just don't like JT Miller. Uh, I just look at his face and I don't like him, I'm sorry. I don't like his vibes. I really don't
My
like his
God.
vibes. But I feel like the reason why especially I just for some reason remember him like doing really well against like the teams I cheer for. So I don't know if that's the Habs or if it's the Avs that he does it like against, but for some reason he just gets my ass and listen, he's yeah, I hate him. Fine, I'll say it. I hate him. Who's the Hab you hate? Let's not no, let's not get into that.
Oh, I
I'm
don't
sure
think
you
I
got a
hate anybody on the
list.
Habs. I'm not gonna
I don't really
I'm not
hate him either. He just annoys me because he's good.
yeah, that's yeah, I get that. That's me with like I don't want to say Connor McDavid, but like that's just kind of the vibe. You're just like you're always like Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid, Connor McDavid.
Yeah,
I don't hate.
yeah, yeah,
I actually do like Connor McDavid. It's just not when he's against my team,
yeah.
except for in the playoffs because he didn't do much. Anyway,
I get his ass. Get him. Yeah, but like it was to me, it was what was I fucking talking about? Okay, let's talk. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about Lane Hutson. I just kind of wanted so let me just tell you kind of what background I'm coming from. Last game, as I told everybody in the chat, I thought he was pretty mid. Like it was a game against who was it? Yes, the Avs. And I think a lot of Habs fans were kind of a little excited to see like what the matchup against Cale Makar would look like. I think two things factored into that. I think Marty favored matching Guhle and Carrier against Cale Makar because Guhle seems to really like frustrate McKinnon. And I'd say at this point Rantanen too. So I think he was trying to do that. But Hutson just had a very mid game to me. Um, and I was a little, I didn't know how he would respond today, especially with like, I was really glad to see Hughes back because, like, of course, it's good to see a good player back, but also I don't feel like I get to see him very much. And he's like such a fun player to watch that it's just nice to see him. Um, but like, I guess from an outside perspective, what do you kind of think of what you saw from Lane Hutson today? Also, Tyler Toffoli has never done anything wrong ever, correct?
yes, very true. Lane Hutson. I mean, I understand the hype
Mm-hmm.
because for literal years, my entire timeline of like I'd be going through my social medias and I swear every third post was about Lane Hutson from a
Yeah,
Habs fan.
yeah.
Because for some reason my social media feed just my algorithm loves Habs fans. I
Yeah.
don't follow a lot of you guys. I'm gonna be honest. Like they play usually out of my time zone.
Yeah.
And so I'm
You're
like
like, where's this coming from? Come on.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's like my algorithm's getting confused because I like a lot of F1 stuff, and the only F1 race in Canada is in Montreal, so I don't know if
Interesting.
that's
Okay.
where it's yeah, I don't know if that's where it's coming from. At the same time, yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of highlights of his. I
Yeah.
understand the Hughes comparisons. I think he's a very talented player. I still think he
Mm-hmm.
has some development to work
Of
on
course. Yeah.
because he's like what, 12?
He
I
looks
don't
it.
like the French.
He looks
He
12.
looks he looks 12. He's younger than me, I think. So he's automatically 12.
Yeah.
He's actually probably not younger than me. Anyway, he yeah, I think he's a really good player. The Habs are a very young team. I think he's going to be one of the key pieces going forward. Throughout the game, I was noticing that yeah, he was causing a bit of trouble for literally any Canuck that was trying to take him
Yeah.
as their man because
Yeah.
he just it's like Hughes. Like I'm not necessarily comparing like the same skating ability. 20, I am older than him. Um,
You're right.
um, and his ability to just kind of get behind any people blocking him.
Yeah.
Like forwards, defenseman doesn't really matter. He's a great shot. He's great at just knowing where the play should be going.
Mhm.
Why do we know so much about his? Okay, he's still growing. Ask his doctor. I saw
Do you
somebody talking about
do you want
a
to? Oh, you
bone
don't know
thing.
this?
I don't know this. They were talking about it in the chat before the show started. He probably chirps and skibbity.
Conrad, I don't want to talk about that.
No,
Um, you know what? Let me tell you about the bone thing, the bone zone.
I need to know.
You,
What?
the bone zone. Did I stutter? And we're entering
Please,
the bone
please,
zone.
please be talking about archaeological sites. Please,
We're talking about
please.
his bones. Okay, so when he came to the draft, right? It was his draft year, and he was small, smaller than he is now. Even I think he grew. He probably should have. He's at that age. I'm talking about him like he's 12. But no, like he grew. But at the time, like he went to like a bone doctor. I don't know who. Um, I don't know what they're called, but a bone doctor, and the bone doctor was like,
Osteopath?
yeah. I don't know. But all I know is bone doctor. Bone doctor. I hate how often I'm saying the word bone right now, but bone doctor. I am your superior officer.
Sir.
Uh, no, but okay. So the bone zone. Um, so he came with a note from his doctor being like, yeah, he's not done growing. Because apparently he was worried that he wouldn't, yeah, he was worried about like being not drafted because like obviously NHL like execs are somehow like, despite all evidence, are allergic to small players. And he was like, look, my doctor said I'm not, I'm not done growing yet, which is really funny. And then I heard, I can't confirm or deny, but I've heard from someone that he was really upset about that news getting out. Which
Yeah,
I
like
get.
imagine you're 18 and you have to hear from people, oh yeah, he brought this note saying he got good bones. Like I would like I still hate being perceived. If I was 18 and that happened to me, you would never see me again. Like I'm going into the woods in Latvia and just disappearing. Hockey exercise queens. I
I guess it's late for the Eastern people, I think. That's why it's getting the way it is right now.
it is 8 p.m. This is a Wendy's. Calm yourself.
Sure. No, but that's the bone story. That's how we know about Lane Hutson's bones. Um, yeah, but like definitely, I think you're so right in that like, of course he has a lot of learning to do. He's a baby. I think I think along with the kind of the entire team being so young, the defense core being young, specifically with kind of David Savard being out, so like Papa Savard is out, and Mike Matheson, I think, is the oldest one. Uh, I am ignoring the comments right now. But Mike Matheson is the oldest one there, and he's like an adventure and a half. Like he's the kind of guy where you're like, it's either going to be a good night or it's going to be a terrible night for him. Like there doesn't feel like there's any in between.
It's Carson Soucy.
I'll take your word for it.
It's basically Carson Soucy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he's either going to be great or not. And like the thing about Matheson is he brings something to the team that nobody else does right now, and it's the amount of minutes that he plays at a relatively high level. So it's not like he's just like it's not like he's just eating up minutes for the sake of eating up minutes. He's doing stuff and things, and sometimes they're good stuff and things, and other times there's happening. Um but with Mike Matheson kind of around and not being the one to calm things down because I don't think he's that kind of player. David Seward is full of chaos, but it's the kind that's like you're just old and slow. Um, and it's fine because you're on the third pairing, but like when he wasn't, it was you know. Um, but I think it's just games like today were like an example of like it can work, like especially when like the kids get going. But usually I find that games without Savard can get a little dicey, just like mentally. I don't think it's anything he does on ice. Like I think it's literally that like the kids are like, where's my emotional support, Papa Savard? And I'm like, don't say that. Don't say the words Papa Savard. And then I keep saying them, and here we are.
Where is my father?
Where is my father?
Has he returned from the war?
He is, God knows what he's doing right now.
He's in the bone war.
Now I'm just picturing a guy like just straight up like not having like any sort of weapon except like a bone in his hand, and he's just like it's using it like a sword. So that's where we're at right now, I think.
That that's a Fortnite skin.
I'll take your word for it.
Probably. Oh, it's not. I don't think I don't play Fortnite.
I don't
Mariah
know.
Carey was in it apparently. I've played Fortnite. Bone Wars. I like that.
Bone
Um,
Wars. The Bone Zone bus
True
driver.
Bone Zone bus driver. I think I'd do a very I'd do a I'd be very I'm good at bus simulator, so I think I'd be a good bus driver.
You know what? That's I can't drive, so you're doing better than I am. Um,
I played it before I could drive. I learned how to drive by running
look at
over
you.
German pedestrians.
Look at you.
Um, I can't find the penalties drawn for the Canucks, but yeah, I understand the looking for a father figure thing because that's like the Canucks with Quinn Hughes, except it's not looking for their father figure, it's looking for their like depressed cousin. Like that's the vibe. That's the vibe. It's like if I got lost at a family dinner. Like um yeah. Um
No, it was for Quinn Hughes, like, on a side note, they were doing that, what was it? The feature that they had, Amazon Prime, and, like, he was speaking, and I was just like, "Can you speak up a little bit?" And I don't mean it in, like I'm like, I wanna hear what he's saying, can you speak up?"
Canucks do not need Justin Hall. Do not mention that name ever again to me.
King of the North
Um
getting your ass.
no. Yeah, Justin Maladen. Yeah, no, that feature, it's so funny to me because like they made Granville Island Market look somewhat enjoyable,
Yeah.
which is just so funny to me because I just can't I
I've
can't
been
do
there
it.
once when I visited, Vancouver. I it was it happened. So it was there. I think as a tourist, it's a little bit more just, exciting.
Yeah, my only memories of there was I got my glasses there when I was a kid, and we had to get it fixed once, and my mom ran into a pole in our minivan,
Nice.
and I was
Nice.
5.
Fun. Oh my God. So my memory is there was a
I still
seagull
have the
that
minivan.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I drive the minivan.
Hell yeah, let's
This is
go.
Seagull?
Yes, a seagull, literally stole a croissant out of my friend's hand. And so that literally flew between the two of us. Like, we were standing side by side, between our shoulders. She was holding it up like this, flew between our shoulders, grabbed it, and flew away, and then ate it right where we could see. So that's the kind of that was the kind of afternoon we had.
Welcome to
Um,
Vancouver. The most social creatures are the seagulls. No one else will talk to you.
Okay, okay, game. Um, so much to talk about. Um, Man, I think for me, it was a great night for okay, let's talk Slavkovsky, I think, a little bit. Because I thought he had a good night. I thought he did some good things along the boards. What we've kind of been hearing here is first it was Doc who was getting a lot of the criticism, and I think Doc's been figuring it out. And I think it's true for every market that like one player leaves the doghouse, another one enters. Yeah. So
My
mm,
camera's out of focus.
yeah, your camera's just oh, she's back.
Okay, here, maybe I
Yeah,
do. I'll look
yeah.
out. That's fine.
So you guys need to stop. You need to stop suggesting things like Jack Johnson. Come on. Come on, let's be nice. Let's be nice.
I'm going Chris Tan over bust. Anyway,
Yeah.
Slavkovsky. Yeah,
Yes.
I
So let me sorry,
understand what.
just let me give you just a little
Yeah,
bit more context. He got pretty much like demoted from the first line for the third period last game and essentially was like pretty much almost benched. And like keep in mind the Habs were down 0-1 to the Avs, so they were looking for that goal and it was like definitely crunch time. So I think from Marty's point of view, I don't think it was a punishment necessarily as it was I'm coaching to win right now. Um so with the context of that, I feel like the game itself wasn't like he didn't look like a player who was playing scared, I think that was encouraging too. Kind of what are your feelings?
I mean, as someone who's like very much so outside of the Montreal market, I think yeah, I understand where you're coming from, like where like one player leaves the doghouse, like you said with Doc. He goes out, scores 3 goals in 5 games heading into this
Yeah.
game. Um, and one player leaves the doghouse, another one enters. That's just perpetually the Canucks.
Yeah.
It's usually Elias Pettersson. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I understand. I thought he did get the assist on the Caulfield goal
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he I occasionally will watch Habs games because my dad likes them. I was supposed to bring out he has a jersey, but I forgot to grab it. But um yes, he didn't seem as visible, I'd say, um throughout the night as I've seen him like be in like other games and stuff like that, but uh I think overall he had a pretty good game. Wasn't
Yeah.
messing up. He didn't he You said he got benched, but then again it was like I'm coaching to win right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't mess up as bad as the guy who just gets benched for the sake of being benched in Niels Höglander, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Wakely Sober updating me on the state of the Avs PP. Yeah, it's a little. I think both of my teams are suffering a little bit. Time to see a doctor, guys. Um, uh, there's a
I just got that.
hell yeah. So, with Slav, I think the good thing is being necessarily not as visible isn't always a bad thing because it can also mean that he's not making like huge mistakes, which um I know some people kind of felt some type of way about him on the first goal. And like I think like I honestly that feels like 20 years ago. I can't even remember what the first goal looked like anymore. But I remember at the time thinking, it happens. The first line in general, I think got a little bit that first period wasn't great for them. Now in the end it was one of the guys on the first line who won the game, so I can't get too mad, and I'm never going to be too mad at Nick Suzuki because he rocks. But it was definitely a moment of like it like when a player plays so much, they're more likely to make a mistake because they're playing so much. Like it's just genuinely just how time works.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks the first goal, that was the one when I think there was a Hoglander to Miller, and Miller was right in front of the net. Um, yeah, from what I remember, I think Slavkovsky people thought that he focused more on Hoglander, who was cutting through rather than focusing
Mhm.
on Miller, who was behind him, who was going straight to the net, who ended up
Yeah.
scoring. So
That was a 5
I
versus 5, right? Or was it a
yeah,
power play?
it,
Okay, yeah.
it was even strength, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, was traumatizing you more the Canucks or the Bone Zone? Honestly, the Canucks.
I don't think
I
we
will
can
say
do
that.
anything that would traumatize anything more than what the Canucks put their poor fans through.
It's the front page of the newspaper the day I was born was about a Canucks loss. If that didn't
Oh,
like spell the rest of my life out, I Kaya, why doesn't JT Miller look happy when he scores? Because he hadn't scored since he hadn't scored on a goaltender since November. So
should look happier then.
yeah, but like it was kind of like a type of
Yeah.
thing, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, I mean, good for him on that. And yeah, Hudson was chasing Hulklander along the boards, past Miller along the slot. Yes.
Yeah.
Um yeah, JT Miller, he's just kind of he got the pressure off there. Cause yeah, it was kind of a big deal. He's only scored empty netters
Yeah, of
since he's
course.
returned. He had a 4-point night tonight, factored into all 4 of the Canucks goals, which is insane.
Yeah.
Conrad, I shut up. Um, Team EP or JT. I'm not. We could talk about that later. I'm not getting into that right
Yeah,
now.
I will get into that. Don't worry about that.
Oh no.
We will get into that. Yeah, I think
It-
essentially also thank Vaguely Sober for keeping me updated on that game. Truly. I can't it's hard to keep up with two teams right now, with working game over, but do my best. Appreciate it. Yeah, but also I'd like everybody to know I didn't really or I offered if anybody else wanted to come on to the show yesterday, because some plans fell through, but Kaja was like, "Can I insult Kale McCarr?" And I was like, "Nope, actually, I can do this alone. I will do it alone." So
Wow.
for more neutral grounds, for more neutral grounds, it's the Habs Canucks, I think. Um, I thought Caden, I don't know how people in the chat feel, and I'd appreciate any feedback because I know I am biased, but I thought Caden Guhle had a great game. He along with the physicality, which we're starting to see more of in his game. Um, we're starting to see more of it in his game, but I think just some great defensive plays. He's great with his stick. He's um really just like I think playing with Carrier. So we had with the trade with Carrier, it's been it's just been great to see like the important guys blossom because um I don't know. It's just nice to have a guy who can like play with a partner who's at his, level or like um not even necessarily ability, but like being able to support him. I'm sure that's really easy to find with a player as good as Quinn Hughes, right?
You would think so. Oh my god. No, Guhle did have a good night. Scored the
Yeah.
goal. Obviously, he had the big physical plays, especially in the first, especially to start off the night on the hit on Jonathan Lekary-Mackey, who also had his first multi-point game of his
Yes,
career
good for
tonight.
him.
Yes, his sixth NHL game, I believe. And yeah, he scored. People were so like after he scored the goal to make it 3-1 for the Canucks. Um, some of my buddies were just like, I was so worried he was gonna pass to Myers. But yeah, no, I think Guhle Guhle had a good game. Um, I had another point. It has left my brain.
What did it have something to do with like partner for Quinn Hughes? I
Yeah,
think I brought
thank
that
you.
up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Quinn Hughes has not had a stable partner his entire time with his
Mhm.
Canucks tenure. It
Mhm.
was Chris Tanev when he first came into the league, and then the Canucks let Chris Tanev walk. And then he just kind of had a rotating door of D partners, and then he had Luke Shen for a while.
Mhm.
Um, which like some people might think that's a little I don't know. I liked it because it was like puck moving guy and physical shutdown guy.
Yeah.
I think that's like the ideal pairing personally.
Mhm.
But then they traded Shanner to the Leafs. Um,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah, and then but they traded for Hronek
Mhm.
after that. So then they get Hronek, and he was meant to be Quinn's like longtime D partner.
Yeah.
So they kind of saw last year as like a trial run basically, trying to find a match for him. And I don't think it is a good match. I will say that. Yes,
Mhm.
Hronek had some moments where he was pretty good. He can move the puck decently. I
Yeah.
just don't think he's that solid defensively.
Yeah.
And offensively, I mean, his shooting needs a bit of work to like know where the net is, basically. But
Okay, Josh
um,
Anderson.
yeah, no, so he had some really high stats that were pretty good, advanced wise. And then, but he came into Vancouver. He only played for 3 games for the Canucks after being traded here, and then he was injured again.
Yeah.
So, um, the next year was really the first year, and he had a really good year for the
Mhm.
Canucks. But how much of that is because he's playing with Quinn Hughes, the guy that won the Norris?
Yeah.
And then this season he gets injured in Pittsburgh and he's still out. So Quinn Hughes has going back to the revolving door. They also signed Hronek long term.
That's
Again,
a
how
yeah.
much of his value is tied to his partner?
Mhm. What, you mean it's not easy to get Taves? I would simply go out and get a Devon Taves, frankly. Um, anyways,
Okay, let's look.
anyways.
Who was on the roster for the Surrey Eagles a decade ago? He was
Let's-
Defenseman of the Year, I think. He was on an award there. I remember that.
Okay, so I'm gonna get Kaja to give me the tea on the Canucks, the team. Sorry, I forgot what they were called for a second there.
The
I was like,
Millionaires.
the team with the, yeah. Okay, I will get on that. But first, I want to tell you guys a little bit about Inchu Bichu. Inchu Bichu is one of our lovely new sponsors. We're excited to tell you about our new partner at Game Over. Inchu Bichu is a delightfully witchy, goth, glam jewelry store making handcrafted art that varies from subtle silver gold pieces to bespoke, glamorous pieces. Inch is more than just a company. They've built a community through their advocacy and welcoming attitude that's made them an institution in Montreal. Um, they are they run seasonal themed markets where artisans from all over get together and showcase and sell their wares. Drop by there and say hi to Astrid and the Vicket team, or head to inchubichu.com and enhance your style. Um, and we are really happy to have them here. So first I'd like to ask if anybody, I know we I know we didn't really talk a lot about the game today, but that's fine. We're both, I think I'd rather just yap,
It
honestly. I
it
think we're
was
yappers.
it
It
was
was a
like the
game.
offspring of that one. Yeah, it was a game. It was like the offspring of that one game in Vancouver a few years back when it was 7-6 in overtime for the Canucks after the Canucks were down 4-0 in the first
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Sorry to remind you of that, Habs fans,
No, no,
but
no, no, of course not. No, no, no. That's fine. Nothing.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Anyways, I mean, I threw the first stone, really. Um, with the Taze comment, I threw it, so I'll take it.
I mean, hey, I both my teams are the laughing stocks of their division right now, so
Okay, so tell me, fill me in on what's happening with the Canucks, and specifically, so all I know is that a bunch of Habs fans are like, Elias Pettersson? Question mark? And I'm like, I don't know.
why do you want him? You
No,
have
he's a good
enough.
player. He's a good player. Of course
He's
we
a good
want him.
player. I get it, but you can't have them all. You have
Is
to
that not how it
share.
works? Is that
You
not how
can't
it
all
works?
be Donatello. That is not mathematically possible. Um, yeah. Basically, there's been theories, somewhat confirmed, between the been some theories that there's drama between two of the big names in the Canucks locker room in JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, two highest paid players, I believe. That sounds right. And they're both signed here long term.
Yeah.
It looks like it. This was also an ongoing thing in like 2022, 23, but that was also when the Canucks were also still very bad.
Yeah.
That was when the Bruce There It Is kind of aura faded.
Mm-hmm.
Because that tapered off at the end of 21-22, and then they go 0-7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
As is
was
tradition.
that was horrible. Anyway, they so there's rumors of that, and then it kind of dies down throughout the next year,
Mm-hmm.
somewhat, because the Canucks were very, very good last season. They blew everybody out of the water compared to the year before, which the year before's motto was unfinished business, and they made t-shirts, and those t-shirts were $5 at the season end sale. I totally do not own one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of quieted.
Mm-hmm.
This season rolls around. They got into a bit of an argument during practice
Ooh,
at one
spicy.
point, which, I mean, then again, Connor Garland and Dakota Joshua fought in training camp last season, and they
Yeah.
were part of one of the
But they're
best
not that big
lines
of a
last
piece,
year.
right?
True. It's not. And it's also, I feel like there's an extra weight because when the entire Canucks lineup is healthy, the typical leadership structure is Quinn Hughes is the captain. He's a quiet leader. He's their best player.
Much like Nick
And
Suzuki, I think, in terms of the quiet captain kind of thing. So yeah,
yeah, and then they have their two main alternates are PD and JT.
which is really
Um,
funny.
yeah. So it's like I'm trying to put this into words.
The Real
I don't
Housewives of
know.
Vancouver.
It basically is. I was trying to put it in like Mean Girls terms, but I don't know who is the plastics and who is Katie Heron in the
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
I I totally did not watch both of the Mean Girls, like the musical and the main movie over New Year's. Totally did not do
surely
that.
not.
Surely not. No, I'm trying to liken it to that, but it just seems so stupid. Apparently
Yeah,
people are saying that it was just like JT was a bit too hard on PD, and like that came out with former Canuck players talking about it, former coach Enrich talking about it. Rick Tocchet and Quinn Hughes seemed to confirm that there's some bad blood, but both players were just like, I'm
yep.
not talking about this.
I
It's
remember that. Oh my God, that post game where like I think it was Thomas Drance, who got yelled at by Petey, who was like, read the room or something like
it
that.
was oh, okay. I just know that there was this one it was I think it was Jeff Patterson asked him about it, and he said, "I'm not talking about this," you know,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
just walked out.
yeah.
So yeah, Miller is the plastics, all of them. When mom and dad are fighting, Rick Talk is Tina Fey. I don't disrespect Tina like that. Um,
Honestly, if mom and dad are fighting and it's JT and EP, I think it's like one of those things where you're like, is it good for the kids for you guys to be together at this point?
I almost made a really messed up joke, but I'll save that for later. Um, and then Quinn Hughes is like the kid playing Wii Sports in the basement trying to.
No, he's the older sibling who's like really working hard to like raise like healthy young like he's essentially being parentified.
Oh my god, it's me for real. Anyway, um, um, which actor would play them in a film miniseries? Oh my lord. Um,
I feel like AP could be like by some like real freak. And I mean that
I was
lovingly.
gonna say
Like,
Skarsgård.
yes, a
Well, that's
real
just because
freak.
I'm
A
just
real
thinking.
freak. Lovingly, lovingly. I mean this so
And
lovingly.
do they kiss at the end? Honestly, like, okay,
I wonder if that would fix
I,
it.
I
Get
what?
along
No,
shirts.
I made a joke. I made a joke on my Instagram story because I was at the game when they lost 3-0 to the Nashville Predators, and PD was out, Quinn was out. It was
Yeah.
still a bad game. Quinn is basically in the plot of Shameless. Oh my god.
Eldest daughter for real
Yes?
energies. Like
Oh my god, he is Fiona Gallagher. Let's go. I'm so sorry, Quinn Hughes. Then who is the bear guy? What's his name? Lip. Shit. I I need to finish Shameless still. Anyway, does JT have a burn book? I would not be surprised.
I would
That would be
not
great.
know. Honestly, he has the vibes. He has burn book vibes. You know what? It's like a little weird because he reminds me always of Mac, like McKinnon, in the intensity thing, except he's not good enough to like get away with it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but like
I
that's kind of what it reminds me of low key, and I think it makes
yeah.
sense because I do think that like if Mac wasn't like tied for the best player on his team, you know, so I just wonder if like
If
it
he
just
didn't
reminds me a little bit.
if he didn't put up, everyone would be telling him to shut up, basically.
Exactly.
Um so it's like, why don't you guys just kiss? There was a sign the game before Christmas. We played the San Jose Sharks. Somebody made a sign with JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, and it said Happy Holidays, and there was a mistletoe in between them.
That's honestly, again, Quinn Hughes coming out with shenanigans. Like, he's like, that feels like one of those things that like his younger brothers would suggest. Like, it was like, now we're just like making like a teenage like movie. Like, he's like, he calls his brothers like, I don't know what to do, and then like Jack's like, I have an idea, and then that's what
Fiction
happened.
incoming! Oh my god.
What?
Okay, the only... I don't have my gay hockey books. I mean, I have Check Please, but that's like fluff, so I'm not going there. But enemies to lovers, you need
The
that. I
conversation
got
going up there was so fast.
this. I have a book on there that's basically Ted Lasso fanfiction. It's a published book. It's part of another romance series, but it's basically Ted Lasso fanfiction, but it's not, it's like one of the characters is like a mix of like Ted and a bunch of characters, and I don't like that much. I thought it was gonna be anyway. This is one of those shitty Wattpad fanfics. I wrote Wattpad fanfiction, okay? I was in the trenches.
You don't know what forms I was born in.
Look at me. Do I look like somebody that had a normal teenagehood? Like, how else do you think I ended up here? I'm gonna have Apple Intelligence go. No, don't go on ChatGPT. Just go on Tumblr or AO3. I'm just kidding. Do not.
Do not do that. No,
For your sanity.
let's stir this back. Let's stir this back. Kaja, look at me. Look me in the eye.
It's about F1.
Look me in the eye. Look me in the eye. Okay? JT Miller. JT
Yep.
Miller, question mark? That's the thing, is like, you said that like last year there were, or like whenever you said 2 years, 1 year, I don't know, time is fake,
2
but you
years.
said there were rumors at one point about like, that's when it kind of started, but that's when the Canucks were good, so it was fine. And I feel like that's something that like that happens sometimes, is when your team is good enough, you can kind of patch over things like that. But when there's problems, Bernardo, I am not speculating on that. When there are problems, that's when like it really hits the fan, because now there's no longer like the good vibes of the winning. So like, here's the thing, like I talk all the time about how how the Habs are the good vibes team, and they win through power of family and friendship. But like, that's the thing, is like, is it because they're not expected to win that they win through power and friendship? Or is it just working because of that? Like, I don't know. I just, that's what I like. Sorry, but I really worry about like the team kind of falling into a situation like that. So personally, I don't like, in this hypothetical situation where Pettersson was available on the market. You know, I don't think it will happen. I genuinely like, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, not even just Montreal. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Like, if they trade him, that is the worst franchise decision probably in history.
Yeah.
Above the Messier deal. That's how
Really?
bad it would
You
be.
think it's that bad? Yeah.
I think it would be that bad, because Miller is older. Miller's position as more of a two-way forward is not really, like, he's at the top of his career, but that's kind of his peak, right? PD is still growing into his peak. So I think, yeah. Anyway, Petersson.
I like Peddler. No, I said I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't. I won't. Oh, okay. Petersson.
My co-star was the Oilers mascot on Law and Order. I would watch the hell out of that.
That's insane. Exactly. I don't know if we're supposed to ban you for that one or mute you for that one. Come on, make our jobs easier.
I'm just gonna get rid of, just that one.
Yeah, we love you, but come on.
I suppose we're family-friendly fanfictions.
Come on, Bernardo, we're doing our best here.
It's no more. Fanfiction's not real.
Okay, what's your ideal situation with what happens with, like, other than they all just learn to get along? Like, because I personally, if I were you, I would not. I'd be really unhappy if it ended up being that they kept like JT over Pettersson. Like,
I don't think they're keeping anybody over anybody. I think they should keep both of them, and they're both
yes,
grown ass men. They
yeah,
can work it out themselves. I I don't get like I they get paid millions of dollars to put a little bit of rubber into a giant net. Like I'm not
mhm,
I get over yourself. Like basically, that's
yeah,
my advice. If they had to trade one, I would understand trading Miller. I don't understand trading Petey or trading both of them. If they think that trading both of them is the solution, then you should just like take a long walk into the Pacific Ocean because and
yeah,
just think about that
yeah.
sentence for a
Think
bit.
about your
Just like
actions. Yeah,
trading two of the main players of your entire team. Absolutely ludicrous. Um,
yeah,
but it's vaguely sober, not sober. Fair enough.
I get it.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, just grow up. Just grow up.
Yeah,
You know what? If there are F1 drivers who literally crash and cause millions of dollars of damage into each other and they're like BFFs off the track.
yeah,
You can do that.
yeah,
You don't have
yeah.
to be best friends. You just have to not cause the team to implode on itself.
Hmm. And imagine how good it would feel to like win a cup, no matter who is with, right? Like, there's the thing. It's like it doesn't when you're not being like mature about this and when you're not being grown ass man about this, now you're like it's selfish. You know what I mean? Like it's selfish because now you're like now the entire team A is like completely is not it's just being put under the spotlight that they don't deserve. Um, but also at the same time, you are quite literally like you could quite literally put this team back if like one of you had to be traded. Like even like JT Miller is like important to the team, right? Like it's not like if you get rid of him, it's fine because it's not Pettersson. Like it's just
Who scored most of our points last year?
exactly, exactly.
I wanted to be an episode of The Bachelor. It's Quinn Hughes giving a roastie. That would be
He would have a
amazing.
breakdown. He'd have a breakdown. I don't want him to have to do
He'd
that.
he'd have to call his mom. I think honestly, Ellen appearance
Shout out to
though,
Ellen
queen.
Hughes. Yeah, shout out to Ellen
Yeah,
Hughes.
the Canucks need a winning streak because winning cures all. Yeah, exactly. They just if they both stop scoring a bunch, do we stop talking about? Well, Petey's kind of injured right now, so it can't be doing that. But like, I mean, he might be back soon.
Yeah,
If they both start scoring, they stop talking about it basically. Like
yeah.
it's just Canucks fans, and I don't want to sound like that, but like Vancouver media, they're looking for someone to blame. They're looking for something to blame, and not really looking at the fact that I don't know. But yeah, I like the power of friendship type thing that you mentioned with the Habs because like that's kind of I feel like that wasn't exactly what the Canucks last year because on paper they were a good team and then they
Mhm,
were a good team. This
mhm.
year the Canucks on paper are a good team and they're just not being a very good team.
Yeah,
The power of friendship is very much true. That's how the Rangers got to the Eastern Conference Final in 2022. For God's
yeah.
sakes, like um, and then that crash and burn. Look at them; they don't have a captain again. Um, I know you're not a
Which as
Rangers
they deserve.
enjoyer.
As they
Okay,
deserve.
okay, I'm
Deserved.
a Rangers fan, so
Earned.
I'm gonna both Miller and EP are playing around a point a game. Exactly. If I feel like people always forget that too. Which Canucks teammate is on the show just for the zip line? Is that a Bachelor reference?
I don't know. Oh, well, I remember the TikTok sign that's like, I just feel like you're here for the zip line. Uh, I can't, was that from The Bachelor? I don't know.
I
Um,
don't watch The Bachelor.
yeah, me
I
either.
there would be sorry a sit down segment on Amazon in Gastown with Mark Messier.
I mean, it would
Um,
get views. I think it get views if nothing else.
ooh, and that would become the newest, most disliked video on YouTube, I think. Like whatever Baby by Justin Bieber had, I forgot what surpassed it. I think it was the 2019 YouTube Rewind. More than that.
Yeah,
More
yeah,
than that. It's a I think you should leave skit. Pretty much.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
No, I think it's the power of like friendship and like happy vibes is like I think that's like we're in a completely different position, obviously, because we were supposed to end sooner. But let me just really quickly go back to this. We
We're
got
having a
nothing to
good
do.
yap
Kaja
sesh.
and
We're
I got
having a
nothing
good
to
yap
do,
sesh.
frankly. Uh,
Yeah. Like
I don't sleep. It's fine. I genuinely
oh
don't,
no,
so
me
we're
neither.
good.
I
Yes.
yeah, the power of friendship is a big thing. And I mean, we are in a different position because I think I was gonna go all sociological with that because, men and they have different ideas of how to operate in normal society.
Yes.
But I I think that they just need to I don't want to exactly say like get over themselves. I think they both have very different um leadership styles. I think they both have very different personalities. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
to be best friends.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to like not everybody has a coworker that everybody has a coworker they don't like.
Yeah.
Trust me, I worked in retail, I had a lot of them.
Yeah.
But Miller to New York Rangers, yeah, it's really funny because the Rangers don't need JT Miller, they need Jesus. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Miller for Zibanejad. I
I
don't
just saw your brain stop working in real time.
I it's because I'm emotionally attached to these cores and I don't want them
Yeah.
to go anywhere. So that's why I'm like, please don't trade anybody.
Yeah.
If I was commissioner of the NHL, none of my favorite teams would be allowed to trade people unless I didn't like them.
They're just completely, yeah, they're completely trapped in place. In that case, I got dibs on Jonathan Drouin having a contract with the Avs for life. Okay, just to kind of just really come back to it is Kirby Dar, wow, Kirby Doc not looking
He's
like shite.
useless.
Kirby Dar is his evil twin. Um, yeah, he's not, and that's very important to the Habs because him him looking bad is a rough sign for the future. Or like we would have figured it out. I'm sure we would have, but like I think the guys like him. I think that's another thing of like this team is so supportive to each other. Like, so last game Slav got benched, right? And like it's Slav, Cole, Nick, Kirby, and like Christian Dvorak after for some reason, just out of nowhere, is part of this, yeah, it's part of this thing of like they do this like celebration after a win. They get in a little huddle and then they like stand up. It's really cute. They do a thing. And Slav's in there too. And then last game
I think
after
I
he
saw
got
that, yeah.
yeah, after he got benched, he was like a little bit like you could see like he was a little bit like I don't know, pensive or something like that. Like maybe coming out of the little, huddle and then Cole kind of tapped him and it was like a thing of like these guys just like I genuinely do think that like there's something to be said about the power of friendship. I think it has everything to do with like, what the girlies say about manifestation and et cetera, et cetera. I think I think you can achieve more than you think you can if you just have the right kind of vibe going. And I think like, I honestly think that like turmoil in the locker room can really sink a locker room too. Trust me, I saw it happen on another team I love and follow. And I think that like, I just genuinely think that something like or it could be the final blow. Like not even, it could be one of the big parts of it. Like maybe the Canucks are struggling anyways, right? But because they're struggling, and on top of that, Pettersson and Miller have this feud question mark going. Now things are even worse. Whereas the Habs had something going where like they had this like power of friendship and love going for them. They have all their weird rituals. They have Alberta beef, which is my favorite thing, by the way, guys. Um, it's something that Kirby Doc and King Guhle are both from Alberta, and then they'll walk into the room and one of them go, Alberta beef, and then the other will scream it out. It's just very much like a 20-something guy like type of
It's a frat
locker
house.
room. Yeah, essentially. And like it seems like Nick Suzuki's trying to keep it calm there, right? Like he's the one that's like, guys, we can't get decommissioned.
It's a
Yes.
frat house affectionate, not
Affectionate.
derogatory.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like that's why we got Nick Suzuki at the head of it, just kind of keeping it all he's there taking care of it. But because of that, we had that. And then we had someone like Line come in. Again, good vibes coming in. Now we have more like things to as a team, as a family for them in their, and then you have Marty St. Louis giving these quotes like, we're not trying to build a house, we're trying to build a home or something like that. And I'm like, okay, Marty, like, fine, I guess. And it works for the team. And then you have Line coming in, and on top of his like skills, obviously, like he does a lot of good stuff on ice, but then you have the vibes shift too. So I think it's like this like light, nice little like mix of like just the general like morale around the team, and like their skill catching up somewhat, because I don't think any amount of like good morale could make up for like a team that's playing each like that's playing Nick Suzuki like 40 minutes a night, which happened,
I
which was happening practically at one point in the rebuild. So it's weird because we both found, and I'm saying as if we are our teams, and we are actually, we are. I don't know if you know that, but I am the Habs and you are the Canucks. But we found ourselves in this position where we're both kind of in the same like wild card almost. Like we're not quite wild card yet, but like we're chasing for it. And the Canucks are like, wild card? Why are we here? Like
yeah,
we shouldn't be here. Like it's about expectations, I think, in this way, that like again, similar places and completely different feelings about it. Completely different vibes about it, you know? Like it's so weird to be watching this as a fan, because I had this conversation, or like not a conversation, but occasionally I do a lot of the
they
Instagram. Yes.
they are in the second wild card spot.
No shit. Oh my God. Oh, life isn't real. I can't believe
Yep.
in this team. I cannot believe in this team.
They
Uh
are 1 point behind Tampa.
I can't start believing in this team. Genuinely, it will break my heart. I can't do this. Um, I need to not have expectations about this team. Okay. Anyways, so the thing being like the Habs are just like not expected to be here, and they're just happy to be here. A lot of people like gave them shit for like, and of course players are gonna say anyways. Players would say, even last year they were coming into it saying, we're gonna try to be like, we're trying to make the playoffs. And it's like, no, you're not. Like you are, sure, but the front office isn't. And it seems like for you guys, it's the front offices and it's the players who are trying really hard to perhaps not. Um, because that's the thing. I would mostly hear about how like awful the Canucks like front office moves were like being, and now I feel like I don't hear about that at all. Do you feel like that's like fair, or do you think it's just that the players are now bearing the brunt and getting the kind of blame for what the front office created? Like,
I because I think before a lot of the badness was cultivated by the previous um front office regime um
mhm.
in Jim Benning, etc., or Jim Benning et al., to be honest. Um and him and Travis Green got let go at the same time. Travis Green is now head coach of the Senators. But yeah, him and Travis Green both got let go halfway-ish, almost halfway through the 21-22 season. Um, the new front office, if you could say, they've been around for a few years. The legend Jim Benning. Do not start with me. Um, the new front office, so to speak, that was brought in. Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin, along with Cameron Granado as well. I think they've had a better run of it. I mean, in the long term, we'll see how drafting works out, but I think they've picked decent picks considering Jim Benning's first draft pick instead of William Nylander was Jake Virtanen. So,
Cool. That worked
mhm.
out.
2 years later, pick number 5. Pick number 6 was Calgary's, and they picked Matthew Tkachuk. Pick number 5 was the Canucks, and they picked Olli Levy. So, yeah, exactly. I think he's playing in Switzerland now. But, yeah. Anyway, I think a lot of the time, the players and the coaching took the brunt of Benning's force.
Yeah.
Now it was, I mean, Boudreaux wasn't Rutherford and Alvin's guy because he wasn't related to the Pittsburgh Penguins at all,
Yeah.
which was kind of like a big thing. I think with Tocchet and I mean, he won a Jack Adams last year. At the same time, it's just all over. Wait, what? Vancouver's pro scouting has been stealing man edibles. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Odd question. Odd state. I don't exactly know what that's supposed to mean, but I think they've done pretty good scouting. It's just they don't. It's like how I see it is in when you're playing NHL and you're making a team, you're making a roster for your team, and each line you put together and they have like the certain amount of chemistry and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think that last year the chemistry was higher, and this year it is lower for basically, like the lineup didn't change all that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anything, it got somewhat better. It's just that for some reason the team can't seem to click, and I don't know if that's coaching related. I think it's unfair for the players to take a massive amount of the brunt of the force. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
they do have their moments of not being great. Like I'm a staunch goalie defender. Sheila didn't have a great start to the season. I don't like to blame players. JT Miller needs to work on his defense. Brock Besser needs to work on his defense. He's my favorite player. Like it's they can't be immune to criticism, but also I feel like they're not completely to blame, and it's the front office is putting the blame on the players. I don't think it's the front office either. I honestly think it's who's controlling them.
What do you mean,
And
coach?
coach. I didn't mean ownership.
I was like,
no, I was like,
first of all, I was like, is there a conspiracy theory about here? Like, are we talking like who's controlling them? I was like,
lizard people. No, I think I mean, Rick Tocchet's obviously been a good coach for them over the last year. Do I think he probably needs to change some of his mindset? Sure, because when you have, I mean, now we have the Canucks, we have Quinn Hughes back, but you can't be relying on him as your only puck-moving defenseman until the end of time when you
no,
have Eric Brandstrom as well. And
understandable.
you're fielding guys who are not, I don't want to say not worthy, but like Eric Brandstrom and Noah Juleson, if you need a puck mover desperately in your lineup, which you do, just put him in. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I think it's something to do. They need to learn and adapt.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I remembered Noah Juleson was a Habs prospect. I remember that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he was drafted
I
by you
just checked
guys in
that. Yes.
2015.
Yeah, I just checked that. I was like, sounds like, of course, he's familiar because I've played, we've seen, but sorry, you brought up Brock Bos. How do you pronounce his last name? Sorry,
Brock Besser.
Brock Besser.
Best
I always want to say, I
Besser,
always
yeah.
want to go in with the Boser, and I'm like, that's not right.
No, it's Bestie.
Yeah, Bestie. I complete sidetrack, but there's this one interview I remember all the time where they're like, so we hear that your nickname is Mr. Sensitive, and then he gets really sensitive about it. He's like, I'm not I'm not. Anyways,
I think that was Brandon Sutter's doing.
that's really funny. But Brock Besser was like, one thing is he's great hair. I appreciate that. I was thinking about it and I was like, actually, comparable, Kaiden Guhle's got great hair. So we got our blondes with good hair. We got our no, he has
Brock
great
Besser
hair.
is not known to like his nickname, I would say it's less so Mr. Sensitive. I would say it's more so Prince Charming.
Ah,
Because
I
he
get
looks
it.
like Prince Charming from Shrek.
I get it. It's team male model, yeah. Totally get it. Yeah.
Brock is a
Also,
handsome ass
hi.
man.
Yes, 100%. Sorry, I totally missed it earlier. I can't see who it is. I'm just going to do a quick scan. I don't know, I saw someone earlier saying that's their first time watching us and that we're doing a good job. So thank you very much. I just wanted to say thank you for that because I feel like today we're just kind of rambling.
It is usually more hinged.
Yes, it is usually more hinged.
Yeah, yeah, Brock Besser was picked 3 picks above Noah Juleson. He was picked 23rd overall. Noah Juleson was 26th overall in 2015.
Interesting. See, that's the thing about the Habs too, is for a long time they drafted like fuck it, we ball. Kind of like it was genuinely just like it was either that or like, hey, you've got the skills, you got something, but like you're on your own. I think that's something that I really, really appreciate about this version of the Habs is that like they're very much like helping their guys along. Like it's not they're not being put in this um sink or swim position, um, which then kind of goes back to what I was saying with Slav. He's been demoted, but it was very clearly like he's back on the first line to start this game. Like it wasn't like, oh, you're stuck there. Um, but here's the thing about coaches to kind of Marty's been good at adapting and he's gotten better at it. He wasn't at the start, he was very much wasn't. Right now, it's like he's very much, what's a line? Who knows? I can switch it anytime I want. What's a defense pairing? Who cares? I don't know. I'll just put a guy out there. Mike Matheson can play 50 minutes. How about we throw Quinn Guhle out there? How about we throw Lane Hutson out there? Jaden Struble can maybe play sometime, occasionally, if he's good, if he's a good boy. Um, Arbor Jack guy sometimes. Good for him. But like I think overall we've got a coach who's like getting better and better at adapting. But I do think there's some coaches who just won't. Like, do you think that's the kind of case with what you guys are dealing with? Is it just a coach who's stubborn and stuck in his own ways?
Yep. Like it's a one-word answer. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's stuck in old man hockey. Like
Yeah.
that's just my interpretation of it. Obviously, I not gonna like Rick Tocchet's not gonna take coaching advice from me, but like you need to adapt. You can't have the pairing of Juleson and Susie. I understand they're thin on defense right now, but that is the most atrocious pairing in all of hockey. I swear. Like it
Yeah.
is genuinely awful. Um yeah. Basically he needs to learn to adapt. So he needs to take some lines out of Marty's rule book, and Tyler Myers is only there for the zip line. He's there for the vibes, okay?
Oh my
He
God. So there was this really funny segment where before the game they were like interviewing him and he was like he was he was talking with the Habs players and he went and obviously we know what Line can do out there. And it was like by that time it'd been announced so long ago that Line wasn't playing. And I was like, do you know what team is playing Tyler Myers?
I think he's just chronically offline, and honestly good for him. Like
It's also like you're supposed to be like you're supposed to know who your opponent is. Like very much
oh,
Patrick Line is the kind of guy where you want to keep an eye on him, right? Like you don't want to miss that guy. Is Tyler Harris gonna lose that guy? Like it really feels like he has the height
say
advantage. He should be able to
I
spot him.
I think Tocchet is so afraid of change he doesn't even change the lineup that they're playing against.
Yeah.
They were on a back-to-back against Nash. They played in Seattle and then played
Yeah.
against Nashville. They at home. They had Brandstrom skate in warm-ups, and then they played pretty much the exact same, or I think the exact same lineup that they had played the previous night.
Interesting. Good. That's the sign of
He
a good coach, generally.
it baffles my mind. Yeah. He okay. Yeah, I think he needs to learn to adapt. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Tyler
Yeah.
Myers, the height is a problem. I think the news takes a while to reach him.
Oh my
Up
God.
there.
Oh my God.
I he's a legend. They mentioned his nickname of Chaos Giraffe on the broadcast, and I was like,
They did. Yeah, that's the same interview that he was like, "Oh, we got to
yeah.
keep eyes on Line, eh?" It was like,
I'm like,
"Well, let me know where he is. I don't know how sick he is. Please let me know."
Line, I'm at home puking.
Yeah,
Oh
man,
my
he's got to
god.
be real sick if he's been out for 3 games at this point.
Oof.
Um, yeah, okay, I think I'm not sure we have time for questions, but if anybody has like 1 or 2 questions, we'll answer them. One thing I do want to ask you about is, what's up with Hoaglander and why is his like What's up? Why did he make that decision, and can I thank him? How can I thank him?
I I think he's just doing he's trying to stay back in the lineup. I was
Mm,
surprised he was out in the last minute of play because usually he just barely plays at all when he's in the
yeah.
lineup, if he's in the lineup.
Is he one of those
Um,
kind of players to talk it?
yeah, I definitely he's also like he hasn't put up as many points recently. I think he got an assist tonight. He's goalless and I think 26 games.
Oof.
Which is a lot. It's a lot. And he was like a powerhouse last year. He scored all of his goals on even strength. It was 22 goals, I think, at the end of the year.
Mm,
So he was pretty good for like a depth scoring type or just like to move up in the lineup because at one point like Pettersson was playing with Mikheyev and like Lafferty. So
yep. Yep.
you need some help there. Um, I think that I don't really know what the answer is. I think he's in the same boat as Brandstrom. It's just like Talkit just kind of doesn't like that you're more offensively minded. I think
Mm,
I think it's more of a coaching thing that he needs to learn how to let offensive players do their thing, which may be also how Pettersson is being mismanaged, but that's another thing. With Hoglander, yeah, I think he honestly just might need a fresh start. The Canucks did just re-sign
I
him
was gonna
though.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that, like, it seems like sometimes a player just doesn't work in a situation. Um, I also forgot to shout out, it's been so long, but so long into the show, but I will mention Jake Evans. Good job. He took a penalty today. Good job existing. Good job, buddy. What's really funny? Last year, the bit in the chat was, Jake Evans is our normal guy. That's his thing. He's just a normal guy. Like he's just a look at him, he's so normal kind of guy. And then he suddenly just started being really good this year. Um, and to me, it was like a anyways, that's my guy. He's good. He was good. But Emil Heineman took a bad penalty, but I was just thinking about this and I want to acknowledge it really quickly. I see like one or two questions. We'll get to those, but I want to acknowledge it really quickly that like Emil Heineman's been doing some really good stuff. He's like it's his first season in the NHL. Like he's literally got one of the like he's high up on the score on the goals list for rookies. And he's really just like obviously flown under the surface because he's got Hutson. He's got Hutson kind of as far as rookies go. Um but he's been doing so good and like Marty started that line at home today. He puts that line out there. That's his like comfort line. And it's a line of like Yoel Armia, who's a veteran. You have Jake Evans, who's been in the league for a long time, has earned a lot of respect and a lot of well, not in the league. He's been playing for a while. And Marty likes him. Anyways, and then you have Emil Heineman, who's like in his first year, and he's earned a lot of trust. And I think that's really, really cool. I think we as a Habs fan base has just not been acknowledging enough how impressive it is that like him as a rookie is being trusted so much, and is part of one of the I don't know what the stats say. I'm not a math girly. To my eye, it's one of the best fourth lines that I've watched, at least on this Habs team. Like on the Habs recently, it's one of the best fourth lines I've ever watched, and I really appreciate them. So I want to give that love to Neil Heineman because today I just saw him and I was like, that's a dude. That's a guy. That's my guy.
So
Um,
I like how you
yeah,
use his it's his comfort line when talking about Marty, and just
yeah,
like how he puts the line out there. I just love that phrase, like comfort
yeah.
line.
See, here's the thing.
Like
Before it was like his comfort player, who's Nick Suzuki, which meant Nick Suzuki was out there for 5 versus 5, power play, penalty kill, 5 on 3. Anytime Marty needed somebody to calm things down, he put Nick out there, which is great because it means that Nick has the trust and is a player that a coach likes. But what's not good about it is then you have your number one center playing so much that he can't do his like that he can't focus on his job as the number one center. I think the emergence of Chris Evans, Jake Evans, that's not the wrong I, of Jake Evans is that it's allowed like this fallback line, and you don't very often see a coach who's like, my fourth line guys, I'll give them all the minutes that I need to in order to be safe. And I like I like that emotional support line. So that's just yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like when Tyler Mott was a Canuck. That was the
Yeah.
motto line, I feel.
Yeah.
But that was just for fans. That wasn't necessarily for Boudreaux.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I see Zach saying that Jake Evans has evolved into everyone's Pookie. Yep. He's
That's a great line. I
yeah.
like that
He's
line.
my blurbo. Blurbo, I think the
He's
kids
my
he's my
Blorbo.
blurbo. He's my blurbo. Um there's a question here that I believe Trizax asks. Kaya, can you arm chain GM on Habs Canucks trade that won't anger everybody?
Um, the trade is
Elias
1-for-1.
Pettersson straight for David Savard and Patrick Laine.
No, the trade is 1-for-1.
1-for-1.
1-for-1. Noah Juleson for Lane Hutson.
Okay. How about this? How about I give you Josh Anderson, y'all are Mia, and in exchange you can give me. You know what? I'll be generous. I'm not gonna ask for Hughes. I'll ask for Pettersson. Let's how about that?
Okay. How about this? How about this one? You give us a Stanley Cup.
And in exchange, is there a second part to that? I see.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Yeah, you give us a Stanley Cup, and we give you
This is
OEL's
linked.
dead cap.
We have enough dead cap. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, I do trades. Just
I'm so
no.
bad at trades because I don't want to let go any of my guys.
Oh no, literally same.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
then like you just forget who plays for your team.
yes, I also don't want to get into it necessarily, but I would just say I will trade Logan Mailloux away for anything.
I don't
But
want
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't need to get into it, but I'll say
him. Trade him for a crisp high five and a bag of Lay's.
it. We've got how would we Trinka says, can we start House of Heineman now? Because we used to be House of Harris. You know what? We can let him have it. Let's give him House of Heineman. House of Harris is dead.
I love that song from Six.
Sorry?
That's a musical reference. Sorry.
Okay. It's like, I don't know what you mean. Question for
Yeah.
Kaya. When the Flyers fire Tortorella, how will you react when he gets hired to replace Tocchet? How will you feel about that?
If I say I will get suspended for 6 months.
I'll be in big trouble.
I will be in, yep. I'm not even, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to like fortify the hallway between the visitors bench and the home bench if that ever happens. Because they had to put a wall in there after the Flames game in January 2014. They had to put a wall.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like I vaguely remember something about
So
this.
the Flames started their like fourth line grinders, fighters, and as their starting lineup in
Yes. Oh my
Vancouver.
god.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
And then
god.
Kevin Bieksa took the opening face-off to fight, and the line brawl breaks out. Tortorella comes over, starts yelling at the Flames bench. Burrows is there too. Kessler is out there. And then at intermission, there were still fights, like it was still a choppy game, but that was the beginning of the first. The first intermission, Tortorella, for those of you who aren't aware, tries to break into, there's a hallway. He's going into
That's
the
the
hallway
video that we've seen, right? Of him like the Canucks
in the
players are
bottom
trying to like
corner.
they're trying to like hold him or whatever, and then like he's like
Yeah, like his
yelling like
assistant
straight up
coach.
fingers out.
Yeah, and the Flames players are, and the Flames like
Also,
staff
good
and
night,
Flames players
Trizak.
are trying. The Flames staff and Flames players are trying to like push him out as well and like just get through, and they're all still standing in the hallway, and you just see Mark Giordano just like looking up around. It's like, what's going on here? But and then Alex Burrows was also trying to get in on the action and trying to follow Tortorella, and then I think it was Chris
Oh, I saw
Tanev
you
was
missed
literally.
him. I see you miss your Burrows.
He was like Tanev, I think, was literally holding on to Burrows so he wouldn't go over there. It was
Incredible.
wild. Yeah, I don't think Tortorella should ever set foot behind the Canucks bench ever
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. I think
He's gonna
he's
he's gonna
been
scratch Demko.
he's been surprisingly good with Michkov in Philadelphia. I honestly expected him to be worse about it.
Yeah,
But I think
I
it's
think
one of
he's
those
mellowed
moments
with
where like
age.
Michkov is too, yes, I think he's grown up at his big ass age. Um he's finally grown up. But I think sometimes Michkov is the kind of player that it proves that like even these guys are aware of the fact that like when the team is winning as much as they are, or like when a guy is as productive as he is. I don't know what the Flyers are up to, frankly. I don't want to know. None of my business what's happening over there. Um, but whatever it is, Mishkov is clearly doing great stuff. Um, and Malakas, I think I'm gonna say, reminds everybody in the chat to please like the like button. Like the like button. And also please hit the like button. We'd really appreciate it. We have gone so off the rails. But that's life, baby. And it just happens sometimes. C'est la vie, question mark?
Messier returns to Vancouver to be the next new GM. Ave Maria. Yeah, hit the like button.
Yes.
Somebody mentioned the PWHL takeover game. Yes, I'm going.
Yes. Yes, you're going? Nice.
I'm going. Go Montreal.
Go Montreal.
Go
Victoire.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Victoire.
Oh, I saw somebody mention Nikita Sherbak earlier. I think something about like he could have been good. Probably. The thing I remember is I believe his nickname was Cakes at one point. I don't remember anything more than that. Um, I was very young. I don't remember this, but I remember Cakes, and I don't remember how it happened, but it certainly happened. Kaya, would you like to let everybody know where they can find you? I'll put all that information in the description box anyways, but like, what
Mhm.
do you do?
Um, what do I
Sorry.
do?
No, you're a
Exist?
Game Over Vancouver host. Sorry, I
Yes,
don't know why I asked it like that.
I'm co-host for Game Over Vancouver. You can find us at Game Over Vancouver on the YouTube channel. Um, that's called Game Over Vancouver. It's also then I'm just Kaya May Kaya. I'm Kaya.
Yes, that is Kaya.
Hi.
I will, yeah, I'll be sure to put all that in the chat. And yes, big sexy indeed. I'm reading the chat out, guys. I'm writing,
Like,
it's Michael McCarran's
isn't
nickname.
isn't Eric Johnson isn't his like Instagram called Big Horny or something like that?
Yes, yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
his Finsta. It's really fun. Um, also, isn't no, I'm not gonna get into this, but I think there's a wrestler also who has a nickname of Michael McCarran. Um, all right, good night, guys. We are having the time of our lives. But I we do eventually have to go.
Had the
Andrew's gonna be so
time of
confused
my
about this
life.
one.
It's like
Bye.
98 minutes.
Bye, everybody. Gonna play us out because I should do that.